Now I'll quickly go over some tips for saving. Now, first things first, start early. As we know, savings accounts, investment vehicles, they have interest. Now, the longer you put your money in these accounts, the more interest it accumulates, and that money just continues to grow and grow passively without any of us looking at it. So if you start this when you're 18 compared to when you're 40, now when you're 18 to you're 40, you retire at 65, those extra 22 years that your money's going to be compounding can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's definitely worth starting earlier, start earlier rather than later. Now, for a second one, we want to identify our wants and our needs. So, want is something we want, like an iPhone, AirPods. A need is something that we need as essential to living. So, anything from paying rent, food, water, electricity, even something like the internet nowadays can be seen as a need. So, definitely want to find the difference between both of these and find ways of saving. So, if that way of saving is spending less money on wants, like things you don't need, like a new iPhone, then you do that. Or if you have things like needs and you can figure out ways how to save more money with that. For example, a need could be the internet. You can change providers to save, $10 a month, which can add up to over $100 a year. Now we have goal setting. If you put your mind to something, set a goal, make sure it's a SMART goal. It can definitely help you save. For example, if we have a SMART goal of saying I'm going to save $50 every paycheck, and in 6 months I'm going to go on a road trip. So I think that's very doable. You gave yourself a timeline, exactly how much you're going to set aside, and you have a goal, which is the road trip. Now you want to set incentives for yourself. Now it's classic incentives that some of my friends use is instead of eating out every day or buying food when they go to school, they'll just take food home. They'll bring food from home every single day, and maybe on a Friday after they've done 4 consecutive days of bringing food from home, on a Friday they might treat themselves out. So instead of eating out 5 days a week, which they might have done because they didn't have any incentive or goal, they'll just do it once, which will save them lots of money in the future. Lastly, you want to ask others how to save and make sure these are trusted adults, whether it's your parents, friends, relatives. For me, I'm in university, so I do look up to a lot of my professors. So I definitely would ask professors, what some tips on savings would be.
Moving on, there are methods of saving, like saving deductions and saving with interest. Saving deductions are through your employer and are directly transferred into your savings account. Your paycheck will be smaller than what you expect. However, you are not losing money as a percentage or fixed cost of your paycheck is transferred into your savings account. Another option is saving deductions is through share options. This is where you elect to receive shares of company you work for. This is another type of compensation workers can receive instead of upfront money. The Canadian Pension Plan is another compensation plan. Like CPP is run by the federal government and it is when a certain amount of money is taken from your paycheck and is returned once you retire. Saving with interest is cumulative and collects money over time. Traditionally, interest is not good. However, saving with interest is when you put money aside and that builds up interest and makes more money over time. And a simple saving tip is every time you spend money on lunch or coffee, put $1 in a jar or a separate bank account and you'll know it'll accumulate fast.